All right. And then one last question before we take questions from the audience. Tim, we've got a lot of folks in the IT Pro community. They know the technology. It's really around some of these business discussions, having that talk with management around building a case to make that investment in these security technologies. What advice do you have for people in this situation?
Yeah, that's a really great question. As we talk to mostly IT professionals, they usually get it. They know we need to invest in security. They already know sort of the details of how they can be DOSed. Is it a UDP? Is it an amplification? The different types of bots. And they understand that it's a problem that needs to be more secure. And nothing is more disappointing for them when we talk to them. They say, I couldn't get budget. So I can't do what I know I need to be done. And you can see that there's this frustration. They know what needs to be done, but they're actually not able to get the investment. And we found when we talk with them early in conversations, hey, if you can just bucket and just tell us, what are the areas that the security will help you? That helps them to get the investment they need. And we found that to keep it simple and not to make it overcomplicated is there are two big buckets. One is sort of soft or non-quantitative, and I call it the brand and customer impact. So if you were to have one of these three types of attacks, what happened to your brand? What's going to be your perception? What's the leadership position that you guys will have if you're e-commerce or if you're a medical company? What are the risks? So that's one bucket. And then the second one is, can you quantify a dollar sense either the revenue that's lost because your site was down or because something was broken, or what the costs were? You have to pay Amazon more because you've got all this unwanted traffic, or you've got to build out your IT team in order to, do a remediation. What are those costs? And they don't have to be exact. They just have to be, hey, it's more than $5. It's a $500,000 problem. Like, it just has to be a rough estimate. And when they take that to other people in the company and say, look, there's two areas. It's either risk or your brand, or it's going to hurt your profitability. And then they just tie it to the problem. They're much more successful. They're happier. The company is safer. They're able to get the tools and support they need. It's really a really valuable and critical part of that conversation.
All right. Scott, what's your advice? You know the community very well. How do you typically advise people to have these types of conversations?
I think Tim really alluded to this, and it's something that we say a lot, right? We have a lot of these kind of conversations, and not necessarily about security, just about everything, budgeting in general in IT. One of the biggest mistakes we see is IT pros very often want to go to the business and deliver them a technical solution. And so they come in and say, I want to buy this product, hire this team, do this thing, and it has a name, whatever. And the business simply sees someone who wants to buy something, right? They don't see what the value is because they have no idea. It doesn't mean anything to them. And so it doesn't matter if you're just getting some extra server capacity because you need to do some storage in-house, or you're dealing with the security of your website. You need to learn how to talk in business terms. And sometimes this simply is just a matter of changing your context, right? Take the time to think, this is not a technical person. They care about making money. I should be referring to things in terms of what is the value to the business. If you can't explain it, post on Spiceworks, right? And I've said this before, post on Spiceworks, explain to me as if I'm your manager, give me your dollars and cents. Why do you want to do the thing that you want to do? And chances are, simply by trying to explain it to me or anyone on Spiceworks, you explain to yourself that it's needed. And in a lot of cases, when you want that extra storage, you may explain to yourself that you didn't need it and you should not have made that request to your boss, right? That's a valuable tool just in general. But when it comes to something like security, taking that extra couple hours, making an analysis, learning for your own value what the value of your services are, what the risks to your services are, what different kinds of risks you specifically have, can be absolutely enormous. And you will not only use this in this particular conversation, those same numbers or very similar ones are the same ones you're going to go take and say do a high availability conversation. Or at least the thought process that you go through will be something that in reality you should be going through all the time for nearly every decision that you make. And so it's a huge growth opportunity to get the things that you need for your department, and two, for you as a professional to make that leap from I'm a tech guy and the business has to translate me to I'm the tech leader and the business talks to me because we're already interfacing on their terms.